Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Draft Day Sports College Basketball. This is episode 54. It's recruitment time. We are in that contact period. We have 5 scholarships to offer. However, we're on a budget. This year, we're already down to just over 4,000 left in that budget as we spent so much of it trying to get the transfer portal just right. I don't really feel like we necessarily got it just right. I do think we got one really good one, but other than that, maybe a little miss there. But to see what we can do here is going to really, really come down to, I think, this first week. And we're going to have to be very, very choosy from that point going forward. Also, the other negative is there's literally only one guy from Oregon on the list. So in terms of saving money and recruiting, that's just not going to happen. That's Greg Ford. I'm down to 9 on the list already because I'm trying to be really choosy and save that money. I didn't watch film constantly week after week, and I eliminated guys from the list really quick. It was more than twice this length, and we've brought it down to a select group that's, between 42nd and 170th in the rankings. Not the highest guys, but definitely very good players that would contribute because we just don't have time or the budget. Well, we have time. We don't have the budget to go after a wide selection of players. So let's hope we can make something happen because, we're going to spend $2,800 of that budget just this week on these 4 guys. Gresham was happy with the visit. Hawkins was really impressed. Robinson weren't impressed. 3 out of 4 were very impressed. That's actually one of the best we've ever had. 3 out of 4 guys were quite happy. Let's see how they're looking now, though. Okay, 2 went warm. 1 is still cool. We'll have to see how we're actually looking. Have we even cracked the list? Top 10, yes, but top 10 and warm, which means he's really hot. I would imagine he's going to sign soon. This guy is amazing, absolutely amazing. I do not think we're going to have much of a chance of signing him. Robinson was a big no, so he's out. We're definitely not going to work on him. Hawkins liked us, but we haven't even cracked his top 10. Did we not get warm with him? I thought we did. And we're still cool on Gresham, but that's enough for number 8. Highest up his list compared to anybody else. Now, with the budget we have left, we really can't afford to do much else. So Greg Ford is going to have to turn into our target here as potential, as he's the only Oregon guy. Really the only one we can afford to do much scouting on or recruit visits. He does care about going home, as we spent some time just making a call, and 125 compared to everybody else's 700. We only have 1,300 left, so we're going to spend the next 3 weeks, I think, recruiting him, and that gives me one chance at somebody else. Nicholson liked us. We did crack the top 10, and he is the best player on that list. So I think if we're going to spend money on somebody, Nicholson's the best option. However, he wasn't necessarily he's going to be a favorite target, but all 3 of those guys are top 50. We're not going to be able to visit anybody else. We're down to 490 already, so Ford, 2 more visits for him. That's it. Just 2 games for our non-conference schedule this year against Detroit and Tennessee Martin. A lot of road games this year. A lot of road games. But not against big names outside of Notre Dame. We do have a Coach's Classic, but that means the schedule's, a little more favorable compared to some other years. Just all road games, though. We've gone hot for Nicholson and number 1 on his list. Are you kidding me? Oh, my goodness. We've got a great chance of signing him, but we also have no money to do any further visits. Here's to hoping we've already done enough with Nicholson. Oh, what a player he will be. Please let us get him. And we're warm on the other 2, by the way. So Gresham and Hawkins. Ford, still cool. Not even on his list. He's the only one I can go visit, so we only have budget for him, so we will visit him. And we lost our shooting guard. He doesn't like us. So I am going to take a look at Chris Fisher as the next guy on the list and just give him an offer. We've done it. Nicholson has signed with us. Nicholson, what a huge player he is going to be. The budget is gone. Ford is gone. Is that Cal? Yeah, Cal Bears. So Ford's out. so we don't even have the 140 we could spend on anybody else at this point. Hawkins and Gresham both like us, but no further visits. Hawkins, we are already been bumped off his top 10. Gresham, meanwhile, we've climbed from cool to warm, and we've climbed up to 8th. If he doesn't get offers, we still have a shot at him, but otherwise it looks like we are getting one player and one player only this year, but it's a huge one. It's Nicholson, and from the scouting, this looks like the best player. This looks like the best player we'll have ever had at our program. 4 stars straight up, right off the bat. Fantastic. He has no real weaknesses other than the ball handling. He'll turn the ball over a little bit, but as a small forward, he's not going to be counted on possessing the ball a whole lot. He is a fantastic scorer, and he will score very well inside. Outside, okay. Outside's not perfect. Okay. He's got a couple flaws. But the athleticism means he will full court press like nobody's business. Defense at an A means he's going to be just fantastic, whether he's defending in the press, whether he's defending in the half court, regardless. The shot blocking is good. When the defense is that good, he's going to force bad shots, which means even though it's only a C on the shot blocking, he's probably going to end up getting more blocked shots because he's going to force them into bad shots, which is going to then make his shot blocking a easier possibility. Stealing is an A. He's going to easily be Defender of the Year in our league. Easily. As long as he stays with us. And this is a high school senior, so as long as he doesn't one and done with us and go to another program or go to the NBA or something, this guy is going to win Defensive Player of the Year for years, potentially 4 years. Rebounding is good, so he's going to grab plenty of rebounds, especially as a small forward to have good rebounding like that. Yeah, what's not to like about this guy? It was pretty clear that we were going to lose Hawkins and Gresham anyway, as we were not on one list and we were only 8th on the other, and we had no visits left. Well, 1 week later, last week of visits, Nevada has picked up Hawkins and Gresham is going to Utah State. So they are both out, but hey, I don't care. I do not care. We got the number 1 target in Randy Nicholson, and I think he would beat Darius Q one-on-one when Q was a freshman for us, just based on the ratings on what I see. Of course, our scouting is not perfect, but I'm excited, really excited for this prospect coming in. Budget's done, though, so we are done recruiting for the year. We won't bother with it anymore. I just added an offer for Marion, even though it doesn't show up until you kind of refresh your screen. But Britton, Fisher, we've got offers to all 3. You never know, they might sign with us. They're at least cool on us, but there's no money left to actually recruit them. So unless they don't get an offer from anybody else, there's no way that they're going to amount to anything. But our recruiting coach will stay after those 3, and you never know. Depth chart is now set for the year. So at least on paper, we have 3 very good players. Seabrooks, even though he was coming off the bench last year, it was quite clear that he was really good compared to McMillan. He was putting up better numbers, and I think we have shifted the minutes slightly his direction. They're still very similar players. So Seabrooks takes over as the starting point guard now, and McMillan actually is going to start alongside him, at least in theory right now. I'm going to be shifting things, I think, as we go along a little bit. But McMillan and then Williamson getting bumped from shooting guard to small forward. Small forward is, on paper anyway, a really, really weak position for us. But I think there might be a failure in scouting somewhere. So we'll see if it was a failure incoming or if it was a failure once they've gotten here. And so we'll give those guys a chance to perform. Those guys being Gailey and Cron. So those 2 both rated right now at 1.5 stars, trying to get them some minutes and see how they actually do. Speaking of 1.5 stars, so I have 3 seemingly capable 1.5 star guys, including Anderson. All of them getting at least a little bit of minutes, a little bit of experience, see how that transpires and whether they're better than their ratings suggest. But I have 5 players at 2.5 stars. 5. and then 3 guys at 3.5 or 4 stars. So we have 3 strong players and 5 capable, essentially backups. Great backups, difficult to give significant minutes to. But McMillian, one of those, has gotten significant minutes over the last couple of years, and he's done well enough. So I think we're going to be good. 3 leaders that we want to try to get plenty of minutes to, and then 5 very, very capable guys. Alexander was a starter a year ago and did just fine. So him getting bumped down actually all the way to 10 minutes is good for us. Purvis and Trotty both coming in, trying to get a share of the minutes where Evans is looking really good and Woodruff looks good. So I'm excited to see what sort of combinations. Right now, it's 2 point guards and 2 centers in the starting 5. As the season shakes out, we'll see how these guys perform. I'm definitely going to tweak this as the season, goes on. So as the season tips off, both teams are playing with 2 centers on court. So that's one thing that will pan out fairly well. And we're against the South Orange Buccaneers or Pirates, whoever it is that this team actually is. They are Conference F, so they're definitely about halfway up the ladder compared to us. And meaning, they're supposed to be pretty decent. Technically, we're on the road, but so are they. Coach's Classic, so it's neutral. And this is a game that could probably go either direction. I don't necessarily care win or lose non-conference this year. With the roster we have, I think it's a roster that's going to cruise through our conference with a lot of road games. I think we're going to lose a few of our non-conference games this year because it's almost all road games, and that's just inevitably. Looking at the names outside of I think Notre Dame, it didn't really have much in terms of big names, but here is one of those teams that's got some talent, that's much higher up the ladder than we are, and because we're not at home, it's not going to be easy. They're up 8-2 at the moment, scoring a little bit of an issue, but we get on the inside there and get just our second bucket of the game so far. That was Trotty. Oliver also has a couple points, so it's backups that have been scoring for us. Williamson scores. He's 1 for 5. Williamson in place of Houston, of course, as Houston has left us. So we've already left one wing player who was not much of a scorer, and all of a sudden we've got Williamson who's stepping up and revealing his inner Houston on us, as he is, well, he scored again at least. 2 for 7, though. After that slow start, just 1 point game here. Now 3. Rebounds, -3. Turnovers, +1. Both teams shooting really poorly. 33% is the better percentage. 1 for 5 from 3. They are 1 for 9. Free throws, though, massive advantage. We have 10 already with 6 minutes to go here in the first half. We're supposed to have good defenders, but my oh my, not a good look there. It's the free throw line that's got them level with us at the moment, 24-24. We're only 3 behind on the free throw makes, but the attempts, they've doubled up on us. 28-27 now. Murray, 10 points, 3 for 5 from the field. He's gotten to the line a couple times. Not a fan of the negative on the rebounds here either. -5 already at this point. And both teams in the 30 percentile now. Field goals. As we make 2 in a row and get to the 40 percentile, and we're up 2 at the half. 36-34. Considering how we started, how long it took us to get going, that's not bad. And Williamson, after his slow start, 4 for 11 now. Still 1 for 5 beyond the arc, though, as a team. Just 2 for 10. You subtract those, and it's 12 for 24. Subtract the 3-pointers, and we are 50% from the field. So inside the arc, we're doing just fine. But we are not not doing well beyond the arc right now. McMillian with 3 fouls. He's got to watch out. Williamson has a couple. Anderson, who's only played 5 minutes, has a couple. McMillian has only played 4 minutes. Ouch on that part. Big ouchie. Second half underway. Good thing of a win here would mean we would actually get another game against somebody else, and that would certainly be good. Slow start to the half again, as they are on a 5-0 run here. Now 7-0 run. We've already had 2 fouls. 4 of those 7 points have come from the free throw line. Nope, we have the momentum after that latest score. Not sure how we did that. Hadn't scored in 5 minutes, but we make 1 basket, and that gave us momentum. Guess we were creating it on the defensive end while not making any shots. 34% from the field, by the way. They're 35%. So we are defensively making life difficult. The only problem is the fouls. Fouls are a little bit out of hand. Rebounding, -6. It was -5 earlier, so we've been fairly level for a while. Turnovers +5. I think we've been at a +5 for a while. Free throws. Again, they're still doubling us on the attempts. And 3-pointers, over 7 here in the second half, where they've made a couple, like 2 for 5 or something like that. So we got back into the lead there for a moment, and that's pretty amazing considering how poor we have been shooting, especially from 3. I think that might be a good reason to switch, and let's see what happens when we favor inside. We've seen in the past favoring inside can be a very good thing for getting open looks outside and turn a lot of 3-point misses into 3-point makes. Unlike that one, that's not a good example. Wide open from the foot or 2 beyond the 3-point line, right on top, perfect angle, and we've missed. Hey, we made the next one. We're 3 for 21 now. That next one went in. It's 56-57, 3 minutes to go. Might want to slow this down and actually partake in what's going on. 8-5 on the fouls, so they are in the bonus. We are not yet in the bonus. Evans with the rebound. He's got 11. Oof, nice. Williamson, 4 for 17. Buddy, what's going on? Anderson, 0 for 7. No, 0 for 2. Okay, my eyes deceived me. Minute and a half to go. It's 63-57 all of a sudden. After we got the Evans and Seabrooks with the 3, and Evans made a short range 2. Seabrooks misses that 3. They're going to get another chance here inside a minute, and they cut the lead to 3 with their own 3-pointer. That was the first one. That guy had 7 attempts before he just made 1. Worked the ball, fed it inside, foul, and another foul. They sent us to the line. 20 seconds to go. 64-60. Another foul. This one is 3. They went for the intentional foul, and somebody wisely put the ball up in the air. Made all 3 free throws. Williamson, that was. Williamson might not have been shooting well today, but he did a very smart thing there, and it sealed the game. We win 67-60. Evans, easy player of the game choice. 4 for 6 from the field. 12 rebounds. 3 blocks. Fantastic. No, he did not get a double-double, but that is a fantastic result. Woodruff had 9 rebounds too, but 2 for 7. Seabrooks, 4 for 10, definitely better than Williamson's. Apparently 4 was the magic number. And yeah, 4 for 10 is not great. 4 assists is good. Only had 3 turnovers, which is not perfect. Okay for his first time as a starting point guard. Definitely when you compare him with McMillian, who had those 3 very early fouls and barely played in the first half and ended up 0 for 6 from 3 and 0 for 7 from the field. Yeah, McMillian not getting the job done. Trotty, 10 points off the bench on 5 of 8 shooting, 5 rebounds as well in 15 minutes. I was definitely looking at his... AI wanted to give him 0 minutes. I knew that was wrong. I knew Trotty needed minutes. and he's proven why. Alexander, meanwhile, they wanted to give like 20 minutes a game to Alexander and nothing to Trotty. I cut Alexander down to about 10 and gave Trotty about 12-ish. Totally flipping that. Most of those minutes for Trotty came from Alexander. Most. I think we pulled a couple minutes off of the other guys. That's one of the other things. We are going to commit fouls being aggressive. Post players in particular tend to commit a bit more on the foul side. But having the rotation, getting some guys swapping around a little bit more, helps offset that foul situation normally. And not just because the guys are sitting on the bench because they've had too many fouls. Going to be our second day in a row playing against the Orange. This time it's Syracuse. Syracuse, I don't know what conference they're in, but I would imagine it's one of the top 4 conferences. It wouldn't have been too many years ago that they definitely would have been in Conference A. They were too much for us, though. So we are 1-1 now on the season, 56-71. But I want to get forward. Points in the paint was good. Fast break was almost level. Second chance, there was only one second chance bucket all game. Anderson, looking a little weak. Anderson has not done much. Did have 4 assists, though. Seabrooks had 6. So I think Seabrooks is going to do just fine as point with McMillian kind of offsetting. But what I want to keep an eye on is the performance over a period of time. Williamson has not looked good. Again, shooting poorly, though he was 5 for 5 from the line at least. He did add 7 rebounds out of a post position. That's a great addition. But 5 turnovers. Didn't have all the fouls. Well, no, he wasn't in foul trouble last time either. But if he continues to shoot more than everybody else and not make more than everybody else, I might have to reevaluate the minutes that he's getting and back him off a little bit, share those minutes with somebody else. However, one downside there is that, Anderson I think is kind of the next best choice, unless we go to like Cron and Gailey and try to put a little more minutes on them with Williamson, who's been playing a lot at small forward. Put him a little more at shooting guard a little less often and let those guys play. So yes, I do have some alternatives. Do have some things to try. It's only 2 games. 2 games is not enough to make that kind of call. At 3-3, the record's not very good. However, we've only played a single home game, and we've had 4? Yeah, I'd say 4 hard games on the schedule. Maybe even 5. North Dakota is in between. But Davidson was 4-1, and they are, Conference E or something like that. Notre Dame is, Conference C or D, and Syracuse is Conference D. South Orange was Conference, what did I say? F, was it? So we've only had one easy game, and that was Detroit. And we more than doubled their score, 84-41. So I'm not too worried about that performance. Our net rank is 45, even though we're just 3-3. Next up, Tennessee Martin. That's an easy game. Butler, not easy, but doable. They're only 2-3. Portland State should certainly be winnable. And yeah, you look down there, Baltimore maybe at 4-2, look challenging, and then we get to the league. So we're going to win more games and we're going to lose the rest of the non-conference portion of our schedule. But it has been a difficult start. Added to the difficulty was after the North Dakota game, losing Trotty for about 5 weeks to severe back issues. And from that severe back pain that he's getting, he was doing good on limited minutes. He was getting 8 points a game. He was one of our leading scorers. He was absolutely our leading bench scorer. And Trotty was showing himself, sample size wise, that he deserved more minutes than we were given. Like I said, there was a lot of guys down there that I'm trying to give some minutes to here during the non-conference portion of our schedule to make some calls on. And he was one of those who was showing himself worthy of more. Williamson has been our leading scorer in 3 out of 6, but he's doing it on that volume and not making a lot of shots, except for that game against Detroit, where he scored 21. That's where it came together. Weaker defenders, maybe? Far enough into the season to start doing a bit of analysis on where we're at. Darren Oliver, 20% from the field, but with barely any minutes played in 8 games, I don't know if that amounts to a whole lot of attempts, but he definitely hasn't shot the ball well when he has attempted. McMillian, though, very clearly not shooting well. 31% from the field. He's getting 23 minutes a game. He's attempting nearly 7 shots a game. That's not good. But Seabrooks, not a whole lot better. Cron, similarly. Woodruff's a center shooting 38% from the field. That's not 3-pointers. McMillian and Seabrooks, a lot of their misses are 3-pointers. So clearly the long ball is not this team's forte, not this year. That could be a bit of a problem. But here's Williamson, and again with the not much of a shooter. Alexander, Trotty, Evans, and Anderson. After all that, Anderson is shooting well. Okay. Anderson has been our best 3-point shooter, so I think he deserves to get a little bit more in minutes. I mean, he is making almost the exact same number that Williamson makes on half the attempts. But can he defend? McMillian, even worse. Purvis not doing great, but he's a power forward. He helps us stretch the court a little bit, and he's not attempting a lot. That doesn't hurt. That does not hurt as much, anywhere near as much. It's a lot more complicated, but to put things simply, a 2-point field goal, you want to be able to make 1 out of 2. If you make 1 out of 2, you're getting 2 points for every 2 attempts. That's a good return. Point per possession type thing. You're happy when you get that. At NBA level, you're happy when you get that. So, we would definitely be happy with that at our level. 3-pointers, they're worth 3. So you only have to make 1 out of 3 to get that same value, to get that same return. So 33% is kind of that threshold for us. Cron has it, but not a lot of attempts, so we really don't know if he really does have it or not. Anderson clearly does. That's 8 games, 2.5 attempts per game. That is adding up. He's making exactly half. Seabrooks isn't that far off, and same with Williamson. They're almost to the value that you would need and want. And we've had some tough opponents, right? We've had some really tough opponents. We're 4-4. And yes, Butler. We lost to Butler. Close road loss, but we lost. And then won fairly comfortably at home. Not super comfortable, though. 90-something points in that game. McMillian and Purvis, though, that's well below where they need to be. Especially when you look at McMillian, the overall. It's not good. Williamson, yes, but McMillian in particular. So I think I might need to shave off a couple minutes from, really both of them, and try to get a couple of these small forwards a little more game time here before we get into the conference schedule. See what happens with that. But there's other factors, like defense, right? Free throws. Woodruff, not a good free throw shooter, so no surprise there. These guys haven't even had attempts. Evans and Woodruff all over the rebounds. Alexander doing well on limited minutes. Williamson, he does help us with rebounds, so that's one thing. Trotty doing well on very limited minutes. Same with Purvis, though Purvis, numbers aren't as good. McMillian, not so much. Seabrooks does not add much value in rebounds. Cron is doing okay for a small forward. A couple of rebounds in 9 minutes. Anderson not helping in that department, though. So that was one thing where we're talking about him in a few good ways. That one's not so good. Creating for others, Seabrooks, McMillian from the shooting guard. I think it does help having 2 point guards on the court at the same time. Anderson, Woodruff, nice for a center. All right, folks. Well, I have a little more to analyze here, but it's been a decent start to the year. 4-4. Net rank has fallen to 94th. Losing to Butler was not inevitable or anything like that, but it definitely dropped our net ranking quite a bit, uh, as they weren't on the level of some of our other opponents, but they're definitely also not on the level of our conference. So they were from a higher level. That would have been a close game in our conference that we might have just won. Somewhat tough start to the year, especially when you count the Trotty injury, but I do think I need to start tweaking the depth chart a little bit, and then once Trotty gets back, even more. So we have some decisions to make before we enter that conference play. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.